Welcome to another episode of Learn It with Line with PC Line 324. On this episode, we will create a desktop wallpaper slideshow. This should work with Ubuntu 12.04 all the way up to 13.10. It isn't that hard. You just need some images, a web browser, a text editor, and temporary super user access. So let's get started. If you haven't already found the images that you want to use, open up a web browser and download some. If you have the images, you can just go ahead and move all of those images into the same folder. Although it's not required that you do that, is what I recommend. It'll make things easier. I will provide links to all of the wallpapers that I'm using in the description so you can download those. So let me go ahead and find them on my piece, on my laptop? No, that's not a laptop. I'm gonna go ahead and find them on my Linux box and move them over into that folder that I just created. I'm gonna go here, wallpaper, new folder. Okay, so I've done that. Open a terminal and grant super user rights to your favorite text editor. And then we're going to open up a file called, where is it? In the user directory, share, known background properties, precise. Now, yours probably won't say, well, if you don't have precise, it won't say it. This should be whatever Ubuntu version you're using. It should say precise or raring or saucy, whatever your version you're it'll be, your version -wallpapers.xml. And you're going to open that up. But we are not going to edit this file. We're going to use this as a template to create a new file and click on new. But before we do that, go to preferences, go to editor, and untick create a backup, because what will happen is if you have to come back and edit it, it'll create a backup, but appearance settings will read the backup as a separate file, so you get duplicates of the same thing. So to prevent that, we're just gonna keep that from happening. I'm also gonna change this to 3. Now go over here and we're going to copy everything from this first line all the way down to this wallpaper tag. Copy that, paste it over here. Now go to the bottom, add a new tag to close out the wallpapers tag, and make sure you put an S at the end of that. And we're going to save it as your username -wallpapers.xml. You can actually save this as anything you want, but it's just easier to do it that way. Now the only thing we absolutely have to change is what's inside of this file name tag, and what we want to change that to, we're going to point this to an XML file which we are going to create inside of that folder that we created in step 1, and it's got to be the full path name. So for me that would be home PC Line 324 pictures /wallpapers /slideshow, and I'm going to call the file slideshow.xml. Now this file isn't there yet. We're going to create it. Also, even though it's not required, you can change this name tag. This will appear under the monitor and appearance settings look tab. It'll be whatever you put in here, so that'll show up. So we're going to go ahead and save this, and then we're going to minimize that because we may need that later. Now we are going to go ahead, we can minimize that one too. Next, open up a text editor without super user rights, because the file that we create, we don't want it to be owned by root. We're going to open up a file that we will be using as a template. It's inside user share backgrounds contest. It will be whatever your version is. Mine is precise, yours should be raring, or whatever your version is .xml. We're going to open that file up. I'll explain it right quick. It's going to start with background. Background is it's just to open the overall container tag, which actually describes the actual slideshow that we're creating. Start time is the time that the slideshow should start. Static is the actual description of the background images that you are using. That contains the duration and a file tag. The duration is the length of time in seconds that the wallpaper is displayed. File is the actual location of the wallpaper. I'm not sure if you have to type the entire file path inside of this tag if this file is located in the same folder as the images themselves. To be on the safe side, we will be typing the entire file path. Transition is the crossfade in between images. Once again, duration is the time of the transition in seconds. From is the image that is displayed at the beginning of the transition. To is the image that's displayed at the end of the transition. And they do not have to be the same images as the images in the surrounding static tags. So copy from background down to, let's see, I'm gonna do 3 of them. So the third transition tag, 2, 3. You're going to create a new XML file. At the end of the file, we're going to go ahead and add the closing background tag, and this text editor automatically did that for me. And we are going to save this right where this is pointing. So we're going to save it right here. Copy that. Control V. Wait, what? It said it doesn't exist. So let's go to it. Pictures, wallpaper. I'm glad I did that, because that is going to cause a problem later on. So before I go even further, I'm going to save this. I'm going to go here and I'm going to change that to wallpaper, even though it should have been wallpapers. All right. Now I'm going to do some editing here. I'm going to not mess with the start time. As long as the start time is any point in time before the current time, this will start automatically when you load it into the appearance settings. I'm going to change the duration to something shorter. I believe this is about 30 minutes or so. So I'm just going to do 10 seconds. That way when we're done, we can actually see what is going on. I'm also going to point to where all of my files are, which are here. Copy that, and I'm going to point that there to that folder. And now I'm going to start changing the names of the files to what I need them to be. This one will be the first one, Hextasy, and it was a PNG, not a JPEG, as are the rest of them. And this one is the second file, so I'm going to change that one to, that should be Mochaccino, I believe that was, Mochaccino.png. I'm going to change this one to Stacked. I believe that was the last one, .png. And then this guy gets changed back to Hextasy, so it can transition to Hextasy.png. And then we're going to save it. Now we're going to open up a web browser in order to test our XML. Web browsers can actually read XML, and it will warn you of any warnings that any bad, like if you messed up, it'll tell you. So I'm going to go to the first one, which was user share. You're going to cheat. User share, no, background properties, PC line wallpapers. And if you get this gray bar, even if it does that, if you get that, then that's good. Errors will look like, let's create an error here. Errors will look like this. That's what an error look like. Well, at least in Firefox, that'll what it look like. And it'll actually tell you exactly what's wrong. You should be able to fix them. Check the first one and then check the second one. Check the second one. If you don't have any errors, then you're good to go and you're ready to load it. Now we are going to open up the appearance settings dialog in order to load our slideshow. So I'm going to minimize that. Go to change desktop background, and it should be a square with a little clock on it. And here's mine way down here. I'm going to click on it, and it went to that. And in 10 seconds, it should change to the next one. And I didn't see a transition for some reason. This is the first one. That was the last one. Should have did a transition. So. Oh, it did a transition that time. But anyway, that'll do it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click the like and subscribe buttons, and I'll let you hear me in the next video.